I am Kat Woods. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to review this exciting Bible from Crossway. I really need to read the whole Bible in chronological order. I do have two in chronological order, but I don't know. They just don't call to me. I believe this is the winner for a few reasons, and wait until you see what I'm talking about. So this is from Crossway. It just comes in a dust cover sleeve. So I don't know. I'm in between keeping it and not keeping it. So more likely I'll keep it. But anyways, here is the specs that we're going to be looking at. It does come in a 9-point font. You can get this Bible, from what I know, on their website. I haven't looked on Amazon or Christian Book. All right, it is a true tone color, so it's a fake leather. Their true tone, it's my favorite. Outside of their, I think sometimes it's even better than their leather options, but outside of their leather options, true tone, it's a really good. Just look at this. Look how perfect the green is. It really looks like it's real leather. Like, that's amazing. That marbling effect that they have going on. The grain pattern, it's not just the same pattern like a pebbly look. It's just super amazing. I really like it. So we do have stitching around the whole perimeter of the Bible. On their spine, it is very simple, very classic. It's ESV, Chronological Bible, with Crossway at the bottom. Then we have their ISBN number in the back. Yeah, this I want to call it leather because that's what it feels like. And it's not. You can probably pick it up on the video. It does have a drier feel. Like, you could probably pick it up, especially when the light hits it. But stunning Bible. There is gold gilding and brown matching head and tail bands with one ribbon marker. Now, this ribbon in this Bible, it's perfect. No problem at all. But this ribbon in a $400 Bible, I have a problem with. Now we have a paste down liner. Let me get you back a little bit so we can see the whole Bible here. I don't want you back too far, but I want you to be able to see everything. Okay. We have a couple of cardstock pages. They are glossy cardstock, so there's 3 of them here. I was going to say maybe 4, but there's 3. So you can write your key, whatever key you're going to be using, color code system, some prayers, a prayer over this Bible if you're gifting it. There is no presentation page. We're going to hop right on into the color. I would say a color system, but I don't believe there's color at all in this Bible. So this is just a timeline. They have the same color system on the trim of this Bible. So I thought it was going to be color on the inside too. I may be wrong. Maybe I missed it. Here is a presentation page. We have a title page. Then we have the copyright page. It's the 2016 edition, and then it is also printed in China. It just came out last year, so we have 23, and this is the 11th edition. We have the table of contents. Oh, and there's extra resources in the back. We have the introduction. The prefix to the Bible, well, to the translation, the ESV translation. If you have not read about the ESV translation, I highly recommend going over this. Now, this is the primal history, and they give your the timeline on when it is. We have the creation, the fall, and then Noah and the flood. Now, like I mentioned before, this is in chronological order. So it's in chronological order. You're not going to go from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and so on and so on. It's in chronological. So you can be reading Genesis and go into Job. And you can just be reading a few chapters of Genesis. So you just say 1 and 3 of Genesis, and then we're going to go into 8 and 9 of Job. So it's in chronological order. It's not like a normal Bible. You can't take this Bible to church and then expect to follow and keep up when the pastor says turn to. So it's a little bit, it's in chronological order. So looking here, again, there's no color, so I don't know where that timeline came from up there. We have reading 1 and before, and it gives you on the timeline where you're going to be, the creation and the fall. We have a little outline of it. This is a 9-point font, very beautiful, comfortable reading 9-point font. Get you in a closer look at here. If you're going to do any marking, which you do have margin space, outer and gutter space, a little bit down below. I'll back you up a little bit. There is a little down here, but if you were going to sit here and underline, there's ample space to underline. If you're going to mark up a certain word in a sentence, you don't have to worry about marking up other words, circling, making some kind of symbols around certain words. It's very, very well, very clean text block. I love this. That's why I like the ESV translation, period. Their text block is my favorite to read from. Now down below, in the outer, we do have, this is kind of like their, what is it? I don't want to say legacy because I don't think it's the legacy. Is it the legacy? I'm drawing a blank. Like, I know it in my head. I think it may be the legacy. Yeah, legacy edition. Okay. Like, I didn't want to say something and it was wrong. So their legacy edition has the same outer margin, and it tells you the book on where you're at. So this is Genesis. So instead of up here on top having Genesis, this and this on the page, this is going to tell you what you're going to be reading for day 1. Then if you're looking for your headers, they're down here at the bottom of the page. So it's clean up here for the most part. I mean, you still got an outline. It's just, it's amazing. This Bible is amazing. So I'm trying to give you all of the specs at one time, but I'll walk you through everything. And I'll show you a couple of more times so you're not just confused. So we have the outline here. Then we know where we're at on the timeline from the very, very top. We have the outer and gutter margin space. Then down below, if we want even more help, we have references and textual footnotes. So we have both of them down below here. So for day 1, we're going to be reading Genesis 1, Genesis 2. Now on the left page, we have what we're going to be like, what type of book are we reading in? The primal history. And then on the right, it's going to show us what we're going to be reading over, which is the creation. That'll make a little bit more sense further along we get. Same thing on, and this is going to be day 2. Yeah, day 2 reading. So day 2 reading, we'll have the same. We'll have an outline over what you're going to be reading about. This turn from the creation to the fall. So that's an outline, typically an outline. So if you're looking for something in particular and you don't know where it's at, these outlines can help you to kind of better judge, what you're looking for at a real quick skim. Because it's not in order. You won't find it in order. And then over here, it always tell you what book of the Bible you're reading from. Seemed like my lights turned a little fast. Didn't want that to be distracting. All right. So we have day 2. We have the outline for the book that we're reading over. And then down below in the little outline right here, we're going to be reading over Genesis, First Chronicles, and then Genesis again. So that tells you in this little outline part how many books, how many chapters, and what exactly you're going to be reading. I like that. And it's just one little verse basically. It says 1 through 4, but I don't see 1 through 4. First Chronicles chapter 1, 1 through 4. Maybe continuing on. I don't know. That's just what it says right there. And then for your third reading, you're going to have the outline. Then we're going to have what you're going to be reading for that day. These are the textual footnotes for up here. So every day you're going to be reading in chronological order, but not only that, you're going to have a brief overview before you start your reading, so you're going to know what you're going to be focused on, what you can kind of prepare yourself, and what mindset you have to put yourself into. So if you're obviously reading over the Old Testament, you can't come to the Bible thinking, oh, it's going to be like the New Testament. It's going to be something completely different, and it's not going to be in order like the Old Testament. It's in chronological order, how things had happened in the Bible. I love it. I love it and so excited to start this. Now, I'm not really good with reading plans, but maybe if it's already just laid out for me, maybe I could just go ahead and just read right through. I don't like, my brain can't handle reading plans. I feel like, oh, I'm not reading in order. But having this layout, I believe that can help. Now, this is going to change. And there it is over here. I'm trying to see how to say that, and it sounds all weird in my head, so I'm not going to try to attempt to say it out loud. It's the life of Abraham. All right, so let's just get out of we're going to be in the Old Testament for a while. Even if we were in the New Testament, it's going to be referring back to the Old Testament, so I can't be, hey, let's get in something different. So let's see, right here it says reading 100. So we're already 100 days into this. We have a timeline here, and we're going to tell us where we're at. A little brief overview. This is the reign of King Saul, the last judge in the unit of the monarchy. So right here, this is amazing to me. So on day 100, you're going to be reading over 1 Samuel, 1 Chronicles, 1 Samuel again, and then Psalms. Like, that's that's amazing. In my head, it's super confusing because I'm like, why would you be bouncing around? But it's in chronological order. I really got to do it. If you have read the Bible in chronological order, cover to cover, so the whole thing, you've read it in chronological order, let me know a little bit how it was for you. Did you find it real easy to do? Which Bible did you use and you found really, really helpful? So these outer margins and inner margins, it really makes me think. I personally write tiny, so I can really tear apart this Bible and study it and have a really good engagement while I'm reading it. But I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll read all the way through and then I'll come back and do a whole markup. Look at all this. Obviously, we know this is the Psalms just from looking at it, or Proverbs. More than likely, it's the Psalms. There's a lot of space there. The quality of the Bible, it's amazing, especially for the price point. It lays flat right out of the dust cover. Can't say right out of the box. I really like how they have the headers down here. It's just, it's clean. When you're looking at the top of the page, it's clean, and they just brought everything down below. That's amazing. That will also help me when I'm trying to switch my mind into reading it from Genesis to Revelations and reading it in chronological order. That's a good idea. This is why it's very important to understand that not everybody reads the same way, understands things the same way. Everybody is different. So having Bibles set up differently and not always in the same order really helps a lot more people. This is reading 227. We do still have this timeline showing us where we're at in the book of the Bible. So even though it's in chronological order, you will always know what you're reading and where you're at. And it will be a black letter text. See, we're in 3,470, and this is Ezra and Nehemiah. So it used to be at the beginning, and now it's way back here. So this is the book of Psalms up here. This is the book of Psalms, the 5th book. I have read 1st or 2nd Samuel. I think 2nd Samuel. And it was, the passage was like 2nd Samuel, I don't know for sure, but 2nd Samuel 22, chapter 22, it was the same wording as Psalms 18. I was reading it once before and I was like, wait a minute, this is identical to Psalms 18. And I looked it up, and it was David still saying that prayer. It was amazing to see. You're reading one book, but it's referring to a different book. I love it. I love it when you find different connections like that. So this is it. This is how the whole Bible is. It gives you a layout. You always know what day you're on. You always have a timeline, so you know exactly where you're at in the timeline, even though you're not exactly in order, but it is in chronological order. So technically, this is how things had happened in the Bible. This is how the wars happened. This is everything. This is how it's supposed to be. But we, man-made, like to switch things up and put them in different orders. Put all the history books together, all the Psalms together. Like, we just like things in order. So we took it out of chronological order and how it's supposed to be. Yeah, your little outline so you know what you're reading, and then the books of the Bible that you're reading. There were additional helps back here, so let's get to that. We have resources, so we got the tables, weights, and measure. Then we have the Hebrew calendar. Then we have a daily reading index. So we still have a whole index of how the Bible is. So if you're going to be curious, maybe you have to plan for a vacation coming up. Maybe you're going to be on maternity leave, something like that. And you know what day in particular that you're going to be in. So maybe day 11, you know that you're going to be really busy and you're not going to be able to read all of this. Maybe switch it for a different day, or I don't know, something like that. But it's always good to know, day 1, this is what you're going to be covering, and then this is the page that it is. So let's see if I could find like an old and a new together. All of Job is together. There was a time I was reading, well, I guess right here, I was reading Genesis. I was finishing up Genesis, and instead of going into Leviticus and Exodus, or instead of going from Exodus to Leviticus, it jumped right into Job. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It completely surprised me. Then leaving Job, it goes into Exodus. It's just funny. It's funny to see that. So you're going to get several pages. Maybe that's just the rest of it. No. Okay. So there we have a scriptural index. scriptural index, scriptural index. And then a couple of blank pages back here. Oh, I was like, is that a pocket? And then we have a fold out, what it seems to be a timeline. Yeah. So again, the colors that they have on the box. So this layout right here, it matches over here. So we have like the deliverance to the inheritance. Oh, okay. So the Patreons right here. And it tells you who they were and then the dates. And it shows you where they're at. That's pretty cool. I never seen nothing like that, so that will be interesting to go through. And then this is how it's going to end. The kingdom comes, the early church. That's amazing. Yeah, that is going to be super exciting to go over. Wow, that's... Oh, and then there's a map. Yeah, that's cool. I've never seen anything like that, so I will be going through that. We have the cardstock maps, which, as we know, I am the only Bible reviewer that likes the cardstock maps. It gives the back of the Bible more support, which we need. It don't have to be on the glossy stuff. I agree, don't put it on the glossy paper, which this is not. This is beautiful, well printed. Even the tiny little words, you can still make out exactly what they're saying. They're printed very clearly. Amazing job, Crossway. They do their maps perfectly. And then that's the end. That will be the end of the Bible. That's an amazing Bible. They did really good with this one. This is just something you will be getting because it is, like I said, it's fake leather, the true tone. I don't know once it loosens up if it will just end up molding and sticking to the Bible or if you're just always going to get that. It's just, and I don't know if it comes, I don't think it comes in different leather options. I don't believe so. But get a Bible cover if this is something you don't really like, or get it rebound. I believe this Bible will be one you can use for many, many, many different generations. And okay, that is it. That's everything I have to say. If you do have any questions, leave them for me in the comments below. As always, remember, be a creative tool in our Father's art box. I will talk to you all later. Bye.